Legend Seekers Network.
Boots in the gravel, dust on the sleeve, notebook open, Daniel Lee Barnett breathes. Young ghost chaser, chasing those tracks, coffee in a thermos, mic in his pack. He's got a camera, he's got a dream, out in the pines where the wild things scheme. Mythical legends, Daniel's on the line, digging through the story, between the truth and science. From my Bigfoot life to the tales you won't believe. Mythical legends, come and follow Danny.
Now, dim the lights, keep an open mind. And welcome to Mythical Legends with Daniel Lee Barnett.
And as you all know, I am Daniel Lee Barnett. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mythical Legends Podcast. It has been so long since we've been on here, and I can't wait to be back. Now, as you all know, this is going to be a jam-packed full podcast, and I cannot wait to dive into it because we are going to be going into some very, very deep history into Bigfoot, even 60 years ago. So before we do that, I'm going to bring on some awesome friends, and that's going to start with Mr. Chris Allsford, the Mythical Legends co-host. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Allsford. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Barnett. I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing very, very well, mate. Now, what does it feel like to be back?
Yeah, I miss this. These are always fun.
So, mate, this is going to be a very, very jam-packed podcast because we are discussing one of the biggest subjects in Bigfoot, aren't we?
Absolutely. I've actually... so that if anybody wants to ask questions, I have got it up on the screen next to me so that I can check any dates and details. Although, if you don't know them, you're probably not a fan.
Now, I have two other special people joining us on this podcast. Now, one of them actually spoke to the late Dr. Jeff Meldrum with me about this subject that we are going to be talking about, and he is going to be a special guest on the show. And of course, we have my partner in crime, Jill Roberts and Adrian Roberts.
Yay! Hello. Hi there. Hi.
Hey guys, you all right?
Yeah.
So basically, this is the rule for this podcast. If our guests make any wrong choices now, that they're banned from having a cup of tea in your house. And Gramps, if you talk too much or you say a joke that is mean to me, but everyone else laughs, then I'm going to drop you off stage. All right? I'll ask Nan to push you off. All right?
Okay.
Right.
I just like this. I'll just push him off the edge.
In that case, I'll be gone pretty early, won't I? So it'll be, yeah.
If you say the wrong thing, then next round is yours. And if you say the right thing, the next round is yours.
Well, it seems to me, as far as I can remember, the next round is always mine.
And the first?
Okay, guys. So before we dive into it, now it's been a long time since we've all been together. The last podcast we actually did together like this was Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and say that was an incredible podcast that we're going to be referring to today, as I just said in my intro. Now, for a lot of people in the Bigfoot world, you know exactly what is going on, but for anyone outside the Bigfoot world, I'm just going to go into a bit of detail of what's been going on. Now, Chris or Gramps, would you be able to remind me how old this film is? That I'm
the Patterson-Gimlin film that was made in 1967.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the first evidence that had come out about Bigfoot. There was quite a bit before that, but 67 was the Patterson-Gimlin film.
So today, we will be talking about the Patterson-Gimlin film because there's been some very interesting things that have come up about the Patterson-Gimlin film. As you know from the title of this podcast, that it's called Patterson-Gimlin Film, Truth or Hoax: The Discussion with the ParaGeeks, and that is just giving you a massive clue to who our guests are. Now, guys, I make this joke every time, but it is normal, and it's been so long since I've been on air, so I'm gonna make it again. Should we all just chat, because I think we're so close now that let's just chat. Let's make fun of Chris, guys, and how he's got a bald head, and yeah, or do we bring our guests on and
let's bring the guests on. There's
Bring the
nothing
guests on.
to say that I haven't heard
Bring the
before.
guests on. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to bring the first guest on, who this is the first time he's been on the Mythical Legends podcast. Can't wait for him to be on. He is one of the most wonderful guys, and if he makes us laugh too much, I will tell him off, and I'll ask him to get off the podcast. And he has a great, and I mean great, beard. And also, if you notice, and hello, Mrs. Dowsett, I hope you are well. And in the back, he has one of the best documentaries ever to be made in the world on in the background. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. John Gaston.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
We're good, thank you.
Are we going to have a squatching good time?
We absolutely are, mate. We absolutely are. And John, would you like to say the documentary that's on behind you? Now, I've never watched it myself. I've had nothing to do with it, and neither have any of us. Would you like to say a little bit about it? Maybe we turn this podcast into that.
Well, I tell you, I know one of the guys that's in it, the crazy guy. I think. Oh, yeah, there he is right there. Look at there. RPG is in it. And then, of course, he introduced me to you guys. And absolutely, he said, you got to watch it. You got to watch it because my world, my personal world centers around autistic child as well. So I understand that side of it. And I've just watched it. And I probably have seen it now at least 30 to 40 times, almost 40 times, because I go back so I watch it for pleasure, and then I go back and watch it for, could they have done it better, or should they have said that? And so far, I cannot tear it apart, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Awesome, amazing.
Well, Tom,
Thank you,
if you watch our Legend Seeker series, then you will probably find a lot of things I shouldn't have said.
So a lot of that has been playing on Area 52, which is a company that I own. Yeah. It's an online television station, and it's actually got some really good comments and ratings, and people are like, where'd you find this guy? And then I always push them to your stuff as well as I push them to my Bigfoot life, which I think everybody, if they don't buy it, at least rent it one time and watch it. It's on Amazon. It's really good. My wife even watched some of it, and she goes, that's really inspiring. I'm like, right, exactly. That's what we want. We want young kids to get out there and go, I really do believe I want to be able to see this. I want to, and that's absolutely phenomenal. And being a filmmaker is absolutely phenomenal. So you're speaking my language here, right?
Well, thank you so much for the kind words, mate. And we are going to have an awesome time. Talking of an awesome time, we are going to bring the most jacked person in the United States onto this podcast, and we are going to have so much fun. He is part of the Legend Seekers team, and I would almost say he's closer to Nanny and Gramps than I am. So please welcome to the stage, Mr. Ryan RPG Golembeske.
It's time to get Squatch fit, people. And John, thank you for all those compliments. That is so nice to hear. I know I'm your favorite part of that film. Same with
excuse me. Excuse me.
No, listen, I'm just sitting backstage and I am watching this, and to see how far you've come, Daniel, you want to say inspiring. It's unbelievable. You're not just talking with us, you're leading the discussion. So bravo to Gramps and Nan for putting up with your butt all these years and getting you there. Bravo to Chris for having his camera aimed like an old timer. And everybody, I'm so glad to be here. Let's go.
Right. Let's talk about the camera angle and put it correct, because I just wanted to start this podcast off making a statement.
Oh, there you go.
You're welcome for that lead in. You're welcome. That was unintentional, people. That was unintentional. Very cool. Very cool.
So, and also, I must say, I just saw a dog appear in the bottom right-hand side of Chris's camera.
This is not Danger Dog. As you can see, I'm not in my usual place. I'm visiting family, and I have a temporary Danger Dog. Hold on.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
She's my Devon Danger Dog, that one.
Nice.
And she will be more of a star than you. All right, Chris?
They always are.
Yeah, good. So guys, we have an awesome podcast now. I would like to welcome the ParaGeeks as well, and say this is going to be an awesome discussion. So before we get into the actual discussion, I'd like to show you one of the best intros there is. Now, I think my intro is incredible, but I'm going to show you something that's part of the Legend Seekers Network. And then when we come back, we are going to be talking about the evidence behind the truth of the Patterson-Gimlin film, and the evidence that could suggest that. And I can't believe that Ryan's just put a comment on YouTube that's quite funny, and I'm actually going to show everyone this comment that's saying Chris is the best dancer in the tribe.
Please don't show the video.
Don't know.
No.
Can we not see that, please?
No. So, and we are going to be talking about what evidence there's been to possibly prove that the Patterson-Gimlin film is real. Then we are then going to go on to whether it is a hoax, and with the new compelling things that have come out, and we are going to be discussing them. And that goes back to our name, Patterson-Gimlin Film, Truth or Hoax. So we're going to discuss truth in a minute, but first of all, I can't wait to show everyone this intro. And people have only seen it a few times, but here we go. Legend Seekers Uncut, everyone.
Legend Seekers Uncut, hosted by investigator and fan favorite RPG.
My life phase, he kicks back. Left coffee ring maps on a scribbled notepad. Did we keep that in? Probably not. Outtake stacked like a bonfire plot. Backstage Bigfoot mask on a coat rack. Half zip bag with plastic casts in the back. Legend books open, dog head bent. Someone lost the car keys in the tent again. This is Legend Seekers Uncut. When the tails take off and the guard comes up. When the cameras sleep, the room lights up. Yeah, the real weird fun shows up. Legend Seekers Uncut. Behind every hun and a half-spun gut, we're still laughing about the prints in the mud. Cause the real show rolls when the red light cuts.
If you're not dancing to that, are you even alive? Come on.
Once I start, I can't stop, Brian. You know that.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Those are my real legs, by the way. And yes, I will get them tanned for next season. Thank you.
So we're gonna dive into it, and I can't wait for this. So we're gonna start with the Patterson-Gimlin film truth side. Okay, so I would like to start with both you, RPG and John, to talk about some of the evidence that supports the Patterson-Gimlin film. Now, I must say that Mr. Allsford is our historian on this. Hold on. This comment here: these intros and music are amazing. Oh, okay. We'll come back to that comment later, everyone. I'm so I'm going to start with you, Mr. Golembeske.
Me? Oh, okay. I was going to say, age before muscle, but I will gladly go first. Let me start with this, okay? Roger and Bob are two of America's, but maybe even around the world, the greatest unsung folklore heroes. Unfortunately, there was no YouTube. There was none of this back in the day. So nobody really knew just how extraordinary these two gentlemen were. It literally is like the two guys who were the best at everything. They were both marksmen, okay? expert shots. They were both rodeo superstars, so they could both ride horses crazy. Bob Gimlin actually used to do this thing called suicide riding, where they basically, you have a hill that's almost vertical and you ride down it as fast as you can. Evel Knievel, he was so good. Evel Knievel wanted him to go on the road, but Bob was such an honest man, and he had a life and he had things and he had duties that he said, no, I don't want to do that. I ride for me. On top of that, they were pugilists. They're two guys. They weren't very big men, but they're the last men you would ever want to fight in your life. One boxed for the Navy. The other one would just knock out people outside of bars. I mean, just imagine the two toughest American cowboys of all time. I'm just like, literally Chuck Norris would call him up and be like, hey guys, so my roundhouse kick, how should I spin, right? So, and by the way, John Gaston is an extraordinary martial artist as well. He's another one of these wild geniuses, but he's very humble, thank God. Anyway, so you have these two gentlemen who, if I was to write a movie or say, who are the two guys that would have the grit and the ability to actually go find Bigfoot or document it, these are the two guys that I would send out. So that's just their setup. Now, on top of that, Roger, as we know, people within our group, we call him like the first true Bigfooter. There were people that were into it. There were people documenting stuff, but he was us. Like, he was excited. When he heard about something or some encounter, he would race out and drop everything to go do it. He was a true, genuine enthusiast. And so you have the guy who also, something people don't know about him, they think that he just rented this camera and just shot. Well, he was actually training for 6 years. He was very skilled with the camera, which can make you lean both ways, right? Now you're like, oh, you are more of a filmmaker. Did you do this? But I know we're just sticking with the truth. He had the training, is what I'm trying to say. He could ride the horse. He could endure the journey, and he could get the shot that when that horse bucked, most of us would have fallen, gotten hurt, given up, or whatever, or broke the camera. He was trained as best as you can to be ready for that moment, which is like an accident. It happens like that, and you have to be prepared. Roger Patterson was the man that prepared for that moment better than anyone else on earth. And at his side, Bob was like, if Roger was the most badass dude ever, Bob was like the next model up, a little taller, a little heavier, just a little better at everything, but same guy, just a little bigger. So his backup was arguably the best guy of all time. And these two guys went out and they grinded it out. They were out there so long, they're drinking cowboy coffee, which, as we know, you're just drinking the same coffee again. They're running out of food. They're getting on each other's nerves. And then the conditions lined up. Now, I can keep going, or John, do you want to talk conditions and why it was like a perfect lineup, or do you want me to conclude? I don't want to steal everything.
You just keep going because all your truths are.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So one, they go remote, right? You have this massive washout there at Bluff Creek. So the environment is set up for them to be able to sneak up upon this creature. They are downwind, so it can't smell them. There's debris all over the place, so they're covered. They're on horses, so they're not making as much noise, moving in sandy loam or gravel. They're moving very quietly. And the other thing, they are so tired and so exhausted that I just met with this gentleman, Native American flute player, took the kids to it. And he said, if you want to have experiences with forest people and Bigfoot stuff, you have to control your breathing and basically go into a waking theta state. They were essentially half asleep and exhausted, the perfect frame of mind to connect. And then when they came around, she happened to be ducked down doing something. So once again, she wasn't on high alert. She didn't expect anyone that far out. So all of these things, which yes, can lean to, that's a lot of things that got to add up to give you this moment, but maybe they did. And when they came around and it happened, you now have all the circumstances needed to achieve a moment to find the world's most secretive and best hide and seek person of all time. And then you had to have the training that in that split second that it happened to adapt to it immediately. So they had all the pieces in my book, in my opinion, necessary to accomplish what they did in 1967.
Wow. So, John, I can come to you, or I can come to you last.
John, we're starting with the truth. We're starting.
The truth. Okay, the truth is, right?
Oh God!
If you want to talk reality truths, they did have a Seneca Kodak 100 camera. They did have that. They did film stuff. So that's where I'm going to leave it.
Okay, right.
Because
Do you know what? I'll probably, John, maybe I let Ryan take this bit, and then I'll let you talk for the other section of the podcast. We'll do that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of go to Chris and my grandfather Adrian Roberts here. I'll let one of you go first.
I want to bring something up whilst we're talking about the camera, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm, of course.
So in the initial reports, Bob said he was using a particular lens, and I don't remember what lens it was. But when you take the measurements, when they rediscovered Bluff Creek and they got Bob's location, and they've got the smiling face rock, which is still there, so they can get the angle and triangulate the height of Patty. The lens he was using put her at 4 foot tall. So that's obviously something very wrong. But when they went back and looked at the 3 alternative lenses that camera could use, one of them put it at about 40 feet tall or something even more ridiculous. And the middle one would have put her somewhere between 6'4" and 7'2" tall. So for me, the camera, that mistake adds credibility to the story because it's a non-important fact, but it drew attention to the fact that there are only 3 lenses available for that camera. One puts her at 4 foot tall, one puts her 6'2" to 7'2" or similar, and the other one is so. That thing, it drew people's attention to analyze the camera that was in use. So whilst we're talking about it, I wanted to raise that point.
Yeah, of course, mate. Thank you. And then Gramps, I'll kind of come to you because we spoke to Jeff Meldrum about this. So on the truth side, what do you think?
Yeah, we did speak to Jeff Meldrum. I was looking at it a lot from a mystery point of view and from a UK perspective. 1967, I was only 16, but this was something that I've been interested in for quite a long time, and going back to the Eric Shipton footprints in the Himalayas to Jerry Crew's footprints in 1957, and this was such a iconic piece of film that I couldn't imagine, anything like it. You're going to have skeptics, you're going to have believers. Again, from a UK point of view, it's something I personally believe in. Let me put it like that. Mm-hmm. I've got no evidence to say whether it's true or whether it's a hoax. Why would they have hoaxed it? Why would these 2 guys, that they knew they were going to come up a lot of skepticism, if they brought this into the open. So why, it's nothing sort of adds up as to why they would try and hoax it. It's a mystery, and it remains a mystery. And this is what keeps my interest going in it all the time, is that it is such a mystery. And whether it's ever solved or not, I don't know. We've got our own ideas. I think myself and RPG have a slightly different idea on whether we would want to see it proved or not proved. But there it goes. And sort of Jeff Meldrum was pointing this out, that don't ever stop looking because you might not like the answer, but you just keep looking all the time. So I'm interested in these podcasts to find everybody's opinion and trying to discuss it and get it out into the open, and let's
absolutely
see where we go.
Yeah. So basically, Chris, I'm gonna shoot back to you. So I don't know who Mr. Barnett is. It's certainly not me. It might be someone downstairs. I don't know. But do you want to try and answer that question?
Yeah, Todd is your man for that. John.
Yeah, he actually did rent the camera.
Yeah.
He rented the camera and bought the film, so that it wasn't something he owned. He may have practiced with it, but he didn't own it, and that's kind of when we get into the other part of the show that I'll explain.
Absolutely, John. Thank you. And so I think something that I'm gonna say now, a lot of people, Ryan, I know we've done a lot of podcasts together where we've interviewed loads of people that said kind of that the Patterson-Gimlin film has got them interested into this subject. And I think the biggest mystery for me is it's been almost 60 years now. Am I right?
59.
59. There you go. And I think that's intriguing to me. On this side is that why is it taking that long? As in, like,
yeah, Daniel, look, 59 years, and that 30-second video has been torn apart as technology has evolved, as filming technology. This film was filmed before some people had electricity in their house and things like that. And every stage is technological advancement, especially within the movie industry. It's been torn apart. It's everybody's investigated. Everybody's come up with a new theory to prove it's hoax, but nobody's definitively done that. And now we're at this stage. I haven't seen this latest documentary yet, but we're at a stage now where we can tell our laptop, we don't even have to type it in. Give me a Bigfoot footage on a 1957 Cine 8mm camera with such and such a lens and make it look rough, and it will come up. So until I see the latest documentary proving it's a hoax, I'm not buying it yet.
No, nor am I. There was, if I can jump in there was a documentary I watched very recently with the late Jeff Meldrum, who'd taken some advice from it was a Japanese guy who was really into technology and into getting this all together. And they'd analysed the not the original film, because the original film is lost, but they'd taken all the copies that they could actually find, and analysed all of those, put them all together, and they still couldn't disprove it. They couldn't find any evidence to say that that's a hoax. Jeff Meldrum had looked at all the movement of the figures, of the muscle, of the everything, and even to get it as enhanced as they could make it, they still couldn't prove that it was anything but real. It's still out there, isn't it? It's still there.
So before we move on to the other side of this podcast, and I think John's itching to get onto the other side of this podcast,
he's itchy. That's all.
And is, I think, to end on the truth of it is, I think no matter whether it is true or it isn't, I think that it has got so many people involved in this community, and so many people have kind of found their way in life, and I think that is also important, is that this has got them involved in something quite different, and it's kind of given everyone a purpose. And I think also that's quite important, is that no matter what this film is, no matter whether it's a Star Wars film, no matter whether it's, I don't know, a knitting documentary or cooking documentary, or it's the Patterson-Gimlin film, it has got someone interested in this subject. And for me personally, I think that's just incredible. And I think that message should always be carried. So before we move on to, I know what everyone wants to hear is the hoax side of this podcast. Is there anything else that we want to say towards the truth side of the Patterson-Gimlin film, or not?
I would just say that I firmly believe in manifestation. This house that I live in now, we focused on finding this place in the world. And if there was any one person really focused and really attempting, because as we know, Roger was not well, he wanted to leave something to his family, as any papa would want to. He was manifesting at an incredibly high level. And to anyone that believes that that is possible and the manifestation is real, I think that leads or helps me lean more towards the fact that it is real, because he wanted it so bad, and then on top of that, he did all the work necessary to achieve that goal.
So, go on.
My opinion about this bit of footage is when they first digitized it and cleaned it up, and as she walks away, her hackles come up. Now, even in Hollywood today, making a suit, you can't do that. You can do it with CGI, but they didn't have suits. They didn't have. I see you laughing. I won't laugh at you, John. I won't. I promise.
I'm not laughing. I'm just. But that is a true.
Right,
that's a go-to statement.
Okay, right. First of all, Gramps, on the TV behind John is us meeting Bobo for the first time. And on that note, we are going to go on the advert for the Cryptic Campfire podcast, which is Mr. Allsford podcast, and then after, Mr. John Gaston is going to take the stage.
What's out there?
Welcome to the Cryptic Campfire Podcast, hosted by Chris Allsford, former Queen's Guard and Legend Seeker.
Campfire Podcast, every shadow's got a story to share. If you've seen something out there, yeah, we'll meet you there.
Who's there? Look who is there.
Chris was dancing. Everyone missed it. And obviously, Ryan's child. But honestly, that was funny.
Okay.
Hey.
Yes. This is Eden, and last night, because it goes with the theme, she's up at 4 a.m. staring out, saying Bigfoot, Bigfoot. She's in the I'm scared of Bigfoot phase, which they all have grown out of. But yeah, right now. Okay. I might have to mute myself. I apologize because
that's fine, mate. That's fine. I will also say hi. Yeah, we absolutely should, Ryan. I am just gonna say hi to Mr. Richard Tipping, a very, very good friend, mate.
Hi,
we will
Richard.
be on the phone. We'll be on the phone before we know it. And then I'm a little bit concerned about what Ryan's doing to his child right now. And then also I would like to almost ban Mr. Craig Barnett from this chat because he's taking credit for these adverts. And he did do them, but
I think he's got a right to. Did he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he have something
but
to do?
but his head's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay,
Great.
ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to move on to the other side of this podcast. And I'm going to lead it in with Mr. John Gaston, and he's now going to get very excited, like Ryan's child in front of him. Because this is going to be funny.
Oh, you want? I don't know if it's going to be funny. So first of all, it's just like we said on ParaGeeks and we on our show, and actually we actually sat down RPG and I with Maria and Russell. I want to make sure that everybody understands I am a huge Bigfoot believer. So don't take this as I discount Bigfoot. And I also I agree with you 100%, Daniel. This is what got us all involved. It's what pushed me into filmmaking, what I do. Now, unfortunately, I needed to pay my bills, so I went out to the commercial world, and I've been doing it. I've been actually producing for about 40 years. So with that being said, let's start off with, I love what our RPG said about, how great these guys are. But the other side of that is we watched a video from Russell that he put this great documentary together. You need to go watch it. And what happened once we watched it is the fact that he kind of contradicted himself. He contradicted himself while he was actually doing this, right? So that was supposedly they went back to all this huge setup. They'd been out there forever. It was so tough and it was rough. They were coming down to nothing. And that's not the truth. Even Bob said that they took the logging truck out that had the horses. The horses were there. they went looking for a little bit. They were doing some stuff, and then they split up. And then when they split up, they came back that next day. Bob came back into camp, and then Roger came back about 20 minutes later, or something like that. And he said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, no, I was just out walking the horses." And it was amazing that all of a sudden they go out and poof, there it was. It was there, and it spooked his horse. And then Bob's horse got spooked. Well, first of all, I ride. I don't know about anybody else, but I ride horses. And then the camera they were using is not just a point and shoot camera. That camera has to be wound and ready to go. And you can't pre-wind it, because what happens with those cameras is the springs will wind up going weak. So literally you have to wind that 5 minutes before you even think about using it. And that's just part of that camera setup, right? It's not a point and shoot. Chris, I agree with you. I think they used that medium-sized lens, which is what they should have used. But again, it's not a point and shoot camera like we're used to today. So when you got a horse that's spooked, and yes, they were great riders, we all are, that have ridden for a while. But if you get that thing out and you just point and shoot, you don't know what you're shooting. You have to literally take that thing and aim it the correct way for it to actually be able to capture what you're capturing. It was too perfect of a shot. And then and this is in the Bob interview with Russell Accord, right? So then they get back, everything calms down, they go back to the truck, they're exhausted, and then all of a sudden they hear thunder and lightning, and it's getting ready to rain, right? So Bob even says in the film, I should have went back and covered up the footprint, but I didn't. And then it was a torrential downpour. They almost got stuck. They almost could not get the truck out. So that tells me that the water was so bad, there's no footprint. So when they went back a couple of days, if that kind of miracle don't line up, that you're going to go out and find that. And the most damning evidence of that trip is they had drawn and written a book a year later or earlier that's what they saw. And then they went out and actually found the exact same Bigfoot. That's a problem. That's a telltale sign. And now when you get into the digitization of this film, the problem we're having now is the minute you start converting film to digital fills in the blanks, right? So now the good thing is what they shot on, that was still even in our day today, that would have been considered high def film. So because I've got 16, I've got 8mm, I got 32mm that sits out there that's actually more pristine coming out off the actual roll than most people can shoot with their crappy cameras today. And that took forever, and it got digitized. So there's just inconsistency in that part of it. So Chris, I know you said that everybody's like, oh, well, you can't make those suits today, right? Or back then you couldn't do it. The problem is they went to the movie industry and they said, hey, movie industry guys, could you make this today? Make this back then? And they're like, oh no, we couldn't make that, blah, 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 blah. Well, with the right budget, you could have. I have talked to taxidermists, and I've actually talked to native Indians. Sorry, my back's getting worked on. And stop RPG. If you talk to a taxidermist with the right amount of time, you could have absolutely 100% made that costume. It's possible. I've talked to them today. I've talked to guys that have retired, and I had friends out there in the Northwest that are part of the Indian Association out there. And they're like, we did stuff like that with bear hides and deer hides and stuff like that, because when it got cold, they wanted to have protection from the cold, especially if they go up to the Alaskan Indians, they're big on making their own suits, and they can make them fit as tight as they want to make them fit. So with that being said, I got to squash all these movie makers said they can't do it. It's just not true. And I know we had the one guy, was it Munns or whatever his that said, oh, I couldn't have made that. Well, maybe you couldn't have made it, but there are taxidermists out there that have been doing this way before anybody else, and they can make it. So that is a fact. I can bring them on. If you ever want to listen to them, I'll bring them on in an interview and let you talk to them themselves, because having it done is not that big a deal. So I love Meldrum to death. I talked to Meldrum a month and a half before he passed away, which was just I don't think he's dead. I think he's in Cuba hiding. But that's just, along with Elvis and everybody else. So it's the one thing he did say to me, and I think he said this to everybody else. Unfortunately, we don't know. There is no such thing as an expert. And I think Pallades actually came back and said the same thing. There's no expert in this field. So if someone comes to you and tells you, well, I'm an expert, you better run away because they want your money. I'm just telling you, there's no such thing. So everything we have is guesswork. And yes, we have taken this 30 seconds of footage, and everybody and their brother has actually forensically tore it apart. We've done it. I mean, because when we first got into the Bigfoot side, again, I said I started off commercial, and then I'm also an SME in Florida, Georgia, and actually Southeast. And what is a subject matter expert? I'm actually the guy they come to for criminal cases and stuff like that. And they say, enhance the film, see if you can find stuff. Same thing with audio. Sometimes poor RPG will bring me people over to our booths when we're at these things, and he'll go, this is the guy you want to analyze it. But unfortunately, he's going to tell you the truth, and we don't hold back. And, we had one lady that come in, could have swore it was a juvenile Bigfoot, whole 9 yards, wound up being a poodle because we tore it apart.
He's a heartbreaker.
I am sometimes, but I am a huge believer. I mean, I grew up as a kid up in Piedmont, Missouri, which is one of the UFO hotspots in the world. And actually, we had our own Bigfoot experience there in Black River. So it literally, unfortunately, there's so much against the film now that just guys like me can sit there and go, it's not real. It's not real. Gate's not right. You can see the zipper at one point in time. You see a wrinkle in the back of the suit, and everybody goes, oh, that's the muscle. No, that is just a guy not fitting well in the suit, and it buckles up. That's just the bottom line. Again, I wanted it to be real. I mean, absolutely 100%. I want that to be so real. But the more and the more we tear into it now, the more we see that it is a problem. And unfortunately, and this is the last thing I'll say, and I understand why Bob held out all the way, because I wouldn't. Hey, first of all, if I'm going to back something and I'm going to say it's happening, and I'm not going to say it, in my 90s, oh, that was all a lie. And then next thing you know, my whole family's branded up, as liars. I get it. You stick to your guns no matter what. It's kind of is what it is. But I don't think he's a bad man in any way, shape, or form. I think he's an awesome guy. I met him once, and it was like just handshake, hi, and then that was all I got to. That's all I got to. I didn't get to sit with him like RPG and Russell and all those people. But so yeah, it's unfortunately, and I could really get deep, but I'm not going to because you just don't have that kind of time. And it's really sad that it's torn the Bigfoot community apart, this new documentary. I wish everybody could just say, hey, you believe what you're going to believe, I'll believe what we're going to believe, and we can just all get along and it'd be okay. We can all agree to disagree. We're not saying, the documentary's not saying there's not a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch or a booger man or a wild man. What it's saying is that film right there, it just, unfortunately, it was a hoax, and it's sad, but if the hoax doesn't prove it, exactly. So that I totally agree with that. So it's just the evidence from the technical side of everything that makes me go, it's just a guy in a suit, and God bless them, they were trying to get it. But I also don't think Bob or Robert, I don't think they really knew where the film would take them. I think it was, to them, it was a way to build some money at that time, and in that season. But I really guarantee you, they never thought that the Bigfoot world would become as big as it actually is. You know, so I mean, I'm not to try to drive the point away, but go look at Don Shealy stuff down in the Everglades. That's probably some of the best footage you'll ever see. I'm just saying, it just really is. Oh, look at. But the bottom line is we all need to just go, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We still want to go. I mean, it's great that we look at how many kids we've got out in the woods going and looking for Bigfoot. Yeah. Look how many people. Yeah. Look at Daniel. Daniel's like, this is my passion. This is my dream. This is what I want to do. And you did it. Right. So, and I think the people that are really getting mad right now are people that it's in their psyche that they've always had this nagging feeling that it wasn't real, but they wanted to believe it's real. So it makes them angry. The old rule is if I offend you, it's probably because I said something, that's in your back that you're not right with. So it is what it is. So there you go. That's the hoax side of it for me.
So one of the questions that just came up was, what does it do to the Bigfoot world if it turns out to be a hoax? But the problem is, but no, so it does nothing. But they invested a huge amount of time, effort, money into creating a hoax on a fringe network of people. Today, it's not a fringe network of people because so many people were brought into it by the footage that they released. Right. So again, it's hell of a gamble to put on us to risk everything. And it is a big risk because you're going to get torn apart. And there was nobody interested, and now there is.
Okay, so let's think about what did it cost them? They were already ranchers, they were already rodeo guys, so they had to take a truck, and they had to take some horses, and they go camping. That's what they did. They already did all that. All they added to the mix was a camera and poorly shot film. So the cost of all that was not great at all. It's just what they already did. So they just added one more element to what they already did as people. Now, as far as how far it went, well, nobody would know. I mean, okay, let's just take, for instance, today you put a post on social media and it either goes viral or it doesn't go viral. What would that post cost you? Some time, a little bit of effort, right? So back then, they never knew social media was going to be a thing. I mean, Christ's sake, back then we had 3 channels, 3 TV channels across the country. Everybody had ABC, CBS. Well, PBS kind of threw it in a little bit. So I think that's why I'm saying, I think when they did it for a regional thing. They did no idea this was going to go international. I mean, there's no way they thought that far ahead. But if they could do something locally that made them legends, you know what I'm saying? To the local people, well, the people driving through, they could put a stand up and they can put a thing up, get your Bigfoot stuff here, buy a Bigfoot sandwich, Bigfoot hot. That's great because that's what that area that they're in was known for, was hiking and camping and all that kind of stuff. So it just brought people to there. I really don't think they thought that through. This is going to be an international thing. Some kid in England is going to sit there and make a documentary about that. There's no way that was in their brain. So with that, so it's fun to say, well, they knew all this was going to happen. They had no idea.
Can I address Gareth Wilby's comment, if that's okay?
Yeah, of course, mate.
So from what I've learned so far, Gareth, they can identify the year the film stock itself was made, and John, you correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no way to tell if it was filmed before, during, or after. So you have film from the right time to, if we're leaning it's a hoax, to set up a good hoax because they were doing a dry run. But if we're in a court of law and I'm trying to make it so your proof doesn't work, I basically say there is no way to physically prove when it was actually filmed. 2010, if I believe, was the last year they could actually even process that kind of film. So we know that it could have been done from 66 or 67, whenever, I think it was 66, to 2010. anytime in there, they could have shot that. So that's just one aspect, and anyone jumping after. And then the thing with Meldrum, which once again, it's all about good reporting, right? You always need someone on the inside to find out, because from what I've heard, if you walked up to any of us here, because we all love that film, and showed us that video of the dry run and said, hey, this was filmed the same year, you would look shocked. We would all lose color on our face. We'd all be like, what? And as a filmmaker myself, and as someone who has produced television and who continues to make fun stuff for people to watch, that's all you need to sell what you're trying to prove, which is that it's a hoax. So I'm not saying that Jeff maybe really thought that or not. I'm just saying that can be played both ways. And I hear that he was ambushed on that. I hope that helps, Gareth. I haven't seen the doc yet. I'm excited to see it. But I'm excited.
So yeah, John.
So so when they were looking at film, and when you look at film, there's these little tabs, and they're not even a tab, it's an inset. It's a diamond or a square or a triangle, and that tells you the years, right? And then the first true digital tape which was Kodak. Kodak actually has the time that it was developed and actually color corrected. See, that's where we really get into. No one has, other than I think Russell may have, no one has seen the original reel until that original reel shows up, so that we can look at it, not digitized, not color coded, not corrected, but literally see that. You can't tell anything, because once you go through that Kodak conversion, again, even when it was film to film, it still the holes get filled in. You get artifacting that actually the Kodak people will actually fill that in and make it look clean. That's part of all the color corrections in the whole 9 yards. So, and then that's the film that everybody is trying to tear apart. You can't tear anything apart once it's digitized or once it's recreated, because you absolutely need to see the original film. That's the only way that this will ever get settled. And it's amazing that it's gone missing.
Yeah. And so there's two things that I want to touch upon. I'll go to you first, Chris, and then I'm going to go to Gramps.
All right, so very quick. That film's gone missing, which today Kodak can date accurately. Did it go missing before anybody knew that Kodak could date it accurately? And
the original was given. The original can was given back. I mean, according to the reports, and according to Bob, and according to Gimlin, everything was given back, and then those were stored away in a safe or some kind of place like that. But all of a sudden now we can't find it, and it's just too convenient for me to say, well, if it was that important, if it was that much of a game changer, that would have never, ever, ever, ever left anywhere. The only way that I could have seen that being truly missing would be the fact that the house burned down and the safe heated up and it melted it. That's the only.
The Men in Black came and took it.
Well, yes, I do like those theories. I'm just saying. But it's like you call him Gramps, right? It's like he was saying, there was so much more evidence out there before this film was made that alone could stand the test of time. This film, unfortunately, is not standing the test of time.
So Gramps, I'll pass it to you, because I know back when we were kind of watching the programs and kind of researching Bigfoot before we met all these guys, we kind of had a big discussion about Jerry Crew.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Jerry Crew, and I think we're talking tonight about looking at whether it's a hoax or not. I think it's a 57-second piece of film. The evidence the other evidence of there being a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or wherever, it goes way back beyond this 57 seconds. And the 57 seconds of film is important. It's something that people have looked at and thought, wow, wow, wow. But there is so much other stuff out there, going way back to the indigenous populations, not only of the Pacific Northwest, but in other places, in other continents. Jerry Crew was something in 1957 that caught my attention in the early 60s when I was about 10 or 12, that like I said before, I sort of picked that up with the photographs from Eric Shipton in 1951. So that really got me sort of interested. Then when the film came out, yes, what it did to me was it gave me a whole new, reason to be sort of looking into this mystery and on all this. But it's not the be all or end all of the whole story. I'll be interested to see the new documentary.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
and say I there's one thing that I love is that there is an oh good God, there's an interview with Sir David Attenborough where he actually says the evidence behind the Yeti is quite compelling to him, and that's where there are other things out there that other than the Patterson-Gimlin film that may support the existence of this creature. Now I do know that all of us on here and A1, please stop me, but we all would probably still believe in Bigfoot if this film was disproven. I've had the pleasure of actually being where there has been an encounter. That's the question that everyone else could make. Now, there's a perfect comment here that Gareth has just made about it does destroy the credibility in the eyes of the general public. Now, I have had that kind of communication before, but I've also said to Ryan before that it will build back up, just it will take a lot longer to do that. But I do think especially in kind of our opinion is that I think because it's been so long since that film has been I'm gonna say filmed or captured, I think will it affect the Bigfoot world? Yeah, I think it would. But do I think it'll stop people believing in Bigfoot entirely? No, I don't think it will. It's too national.
So I think. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I wonder if there's part of it for me that's because I wasn't into it right in the beginning, like any of you were.
Yeah.
But it's such an old film. Is it for most of us like a comfort thing? We've grown with it. We know it. We've loved it.
Yeah.
It's very special. It's like an old teddy or an old. We cling to it, and now somebody's saying that's not really a teddy and it's not any good.
No.
We don't want that, but it doesn't mean everything else isn't true or not true. All the research that's going on is still valid. Everyone should still have their same hopes and dreams and go out there looking. This is important, but is it just something that's been whizzed away from us? A belief that it's
absolutely
shattered.
So you want to know who's holding the biggest secret of this film of all people, and that is Kodak. Because let me tell you about so my start in this world, in the audio video world, is I worked with record companies. The first thing we do when we get a recording tape is it comes down to the duping engineer. The duping engineer makes 4 or 5 copies, right? And those copies are what the engineers get back, the sweetening guys get back to mix with. They don't ever touch the masters. So I'll guarantee you Kodak somewhere has a master, uncolorized, unadulterated. It's pure.
Okay.
And I'd like Kodak to release that because that's where the backup sits.
That's the start of a good doc, by the way, getting to Kodak, capturing Kodak. A couple things that I just want to address quick is how does this move us in the Bigfoot world, right? Any press is good press. So Bigfoot's hot right now. So hot right now. Hot. You have your believers and you have your non-believers. That moves a little. You have some curious people in the middle, but you basically have the two of us. And as we're saying, the people that believe, it doesn't mean there aren't Bigfoot out there. It just means maybe this was not real. And the people that think it's a joke and think it's all silly, they're just like, dude, it was just disproven again, you know, like, let it go. I don't think it moves it anyway. I just think we have a spike in interest over it. We have these heated discussions. I think it's great for Bigfooting, in my personal opinion. Now, I see the good in everything, but I honestly feel like this is exactly what needs to happen, because when you travel on this road too long and you fall in love, you forget that we are all in this for one thing, and that is the truth. And I hope that this brings us back to that, because if this is fake, that is beautiful news. Awesome. If it's real, well, then that's amazing too. The Kodak doc, we should do it. What I'm most curious about, what I think the most kind of earth-shattering thing is when we did that talk with Maria, the one thing John and I really couldn't touch, and we wouldn't want to, a man's word is a man's word, but the kind of massive sword that, you know, could kill us in one swipe is that Bob would not lie. I want the truth from Bob. And either way, it's all good wherever it goes, but I want to know what he knows, because I do trust Bob. He strikes me as a stand-up, honest guy. But what if he isn't? You know, that's the powerful and scary conversation we all don't want to have, because I don't want to live in a world where Bob's been lying for 59 years.
Right.
But I may have to.
Yeah. But you might have to.
I might have to.
Hey, look, you know, so here's the thing. We're all human. We're all human, and we all make mistakes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
He's the man. But you know, look, unfortunately, good people can do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even call it a bad thing. Yeah. I think it was the most entertaining thing ever. But you know.
and say, imagine if now I think if you're sat back now going, oh, look at the film. It's been going for 59 years, and look where it's gone. Yeah. But I go back to my comment of, do you know what? It doesn't matter whether this is a real or a hoax or it's got people involved. People like me. It's got
absolutely.
It's got Gramps involved. It's got everyone else around, and I think that's
that's a good point, because what the film did was it got people out there, didn't it? It encouraged people to go out. Look at all the masses of sightings that people have come forward that might never have ever come forward if they hadn't seen this, and encouraged them to sort of come out and look at it and sort of get out there. And you know, us in the UK, you know, we've only got to go about 50 yards and we're in the middle of nowhere. It's just it's whether it's a hoax or not, to me, it's now become sort of old hat, not too much relevance anymore. Like I'm not gonna. There is so much more in the whole thing, isn't it? But,
you had a viewer say exactly that. I think it was Miss Angela Harris. I read this. In my humble opinion, there has been so much more research and evidence in this film that it's just not relevant anymore. No, it's just not.
It's not
relevant to us.
Change the way I feel about it.
Kinda.
And I think if people are going to say, well, that's a fake, so I'm not interested anymore. Well, they were never interested in the first place. If that's the way they feel. So.
Fake or not, it has zero impact on knowers. That's
here's why it's relevant, and it doesn't matter, because that film got a handsome rugby player to get into Bigfoot that led to him getting his grandson into Bigfoot, which gave his grandson his
about me,
voice.
then. Handsome, you said. Sorry, I didn't.
I'm just trying to get to try and go over Matt's tape.
And also, hold on, Ryan. I think, and just to lighten this conversation, Ryan, you're the only one that picked up the joke that I said about Gramps, didn't you?
I hear. Yeah.
Come on. See, I made a massive joke about Gramps, and no one actually picked up, but Ryan. So
we ignored it because it's his round. We don't want him to skip out.
I didn't know.
Yes.
So basically, guys, I will go back to a question that Mr. Barnett put, and I want someone to answer this question.
So this is the guy that claimed to have been wearing the suit in the footage.
Yeah.
But the suit he had was like his daughter's teddy bear that he took the stuffing out of, and he was only about 4 foot and a fag butt tall. So basically, in 1968, he was proven to be full of.
Now, I will add to that, though, of all the people I've seen try to mimic that walk,
he did it well.
That dude just walking looks exactly like the way she walked. I mean, so much that I am compelled to say that in this talk. Like, it's spooky how good, you know.
Now, so okay, so we can go back to that. So say they used the wrong lens and did the 4 foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, that aspect ratio can actually be messed with during the conversion. It can actually be blown up. So yeah, there it is. That
okay.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but that is a possibility.
Yeah, of course. And say I think going back to my point about getting everyone out there is that I think there are so many people currently in the Bigfoot world that have adored this film, and actually a little bit like Nan said, has almost used it as a bit of a safety net. And I think now that's been taken from they're a little bit like, oh well, that's the end. But Chris kind of hinted upon that there is still encounters out there, and actually Ryan's just replied to this comment is that there are Native Americans out there. There are drawings on caves out there, going back to Stone Age, going back to kind of all the Native Americans out there have kind of encounters about this kind of upright being, and that's where there is there's no reason to stop believing because of this film. So, guys, this has been an incredible discussion. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to Chris Allsford in a second, and then I'm gonna ask a very difficult question to Mr. RPG and John Gaston. Okay.
I have 5 minutes, and then I actually have to be in another podcast.
I got a technician in my RB right now.
I got a 15-second thought provoker. Once requested an episode on a PG film, and they, using computers, removed the hair from the face and decided not to use it because the face looked too human. So does that mean if it was fake, Bob and Gimlin and Patterson were actually the Texas Chainsaw Massacres and were using a real human skin suit? Hey, food for thought. Food for thought.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, that and also that will be an over 18 one.
Yeah.
So I am gonna say, so I'm gonna go to Ryan and John. Guys, when this documentary comes out, or depend what's in this doc, obviously we'll know. But before you've seen this doc, I'm gonna ask, where do both of you stand? Do you believe in it or do you not? And I'm gonna start with Ryan because I know John's answer. So the Golembeske.
Yes. First of all, thank you for letting me go first. I feel like I always have to go second for some reason. Like I said before, Bob is my sway. when I get it from, until Bob says, or in this doc, if he says it, whatever it is, that it is fake, then I will believe it is fake. You would have to know nothing about Roger Patterson to believe that he's 100% a credible individual. If you just start to dig into him, you'll understand he was very capable of faking this. But I stand with Bob in the sense where I'm waiting for his testimony. And when until that comes out, I'm going to say it's real. But I'm very aware that it could have been faked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. John Gaston.
I am going to say it's a hoax. It's and I've thought it ever since. Well, I used to believe it was real, and then I got into what I do for a living. Then I found it's not plausible. No, it's and unfortunately, Bob is a great man, but his partner was not. And I think sometimes money can sway you to do things that you don't want to do.
Absolutely, John. Well, guys, I've got to say this has been one of the best podcasts we've done, and say we've done an awful lot. So before we go, I want to say thank you so much to the ParaGeeks, Mr. Ryan RPG, Golembeske and John Gaston. I'm going to give a little bit of a round of applause for them, and say I'm going to kind of end on this. This mystery will always keep going, no matter whether this is a hoax or this is true. Now, I've got to say, we do have some interesting interviews coming up. And again, we're on the same subject. If anyone ever wants to discuss a subject in detail about the Patterson-Gimlin film, or wants to come on to talk about their opinion about the Patterson-Gimlin film, we would love for you to come on. If you contact me at mythicallegends29@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you, or you could even go and message me on Facebook, or go and find one of my co-hosts on Facebook. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Mythical Legends podcast, and also go and check out Legend Seekers. And as John said, it is on Area 52 TV. And go and check it out on there. It is an amazing show with myself, Chris Allsford, and RPG. And we are coming up with some amazing new episodes this year. So, guys, I want to say thank you so much to my co-hosts as well, my grandparents, Jill Roberts and Adrian Roberts and Chris Allsford for coming on to the Mythical Legends podcast. So, can't wait to say this again. And my final words for you are: keep searching, stay mythical, and most importantly, stay safe out there, guys. And we'll see you very, very soon back on the Mythical Legends podcast. See you soon, guys!
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Mythical Legends with Daniel Lee Barnett. Thank you for joining us as we explore the stories, encounters, and legends that continue to challenge what we think we know about our world. Remember, myths are born somewhere, and every legend begins with someone brave enough to tell their story. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share Mythical Legends with fellow seekers of the unknown. Mythical Legends is part of the Legend Seekers Network. Until next time, keep questioning, stay curious, and stay mythical.
Bigfoot live to the tales you won't believe.